Everybody loves a sitcom.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Okay, not everybody, but they're remarkably popular. So what is it about the situation comedy that connects with us so deeply? In a previous video, I looked at a couple of the reasons why stories are the front line in the meaning crisis. The fact that as human beings, we all respond to story. We're mythopathic. And also, it's about the nature of stories themselves. They're about what's important. They're about what matters. They communicate meaning and value. But the thing about sitcoms is that they're not obviously about what is valuable and meaningful. Sitcoms are generally about what's ordinary and overlooked. And that's the power of sitcoms. That even the low-stakes domestic or everyday stories we find in them have persuasive power. Stories are stealthy. C.S. Lewis once wrote that the obligation to feel freezes feelings, but that a story can steal past watchful dragons. Stories are powerful. They can make us feel whether we want to or not. And this power, the power of story, can be used for good or for ill.
Get out of Jim's seat.
What makes sitcoms work? Characters. Characters in sitcoms are very different to characters in films.
Have you seen the film department's website?
In sitcoms, they don't change. That feels much more like real life than a movie with a strong character arc. Most of the time, people are the way that they are. They typically do the same things, they act the same way, and they become predictable.
We had almost that exact conversation last week.
Yeah, but Abed posted this video 2 weeks ago.
That boy's a soothsayer.
This is wrinkling my brain.
This is wrinkling my brain.
That's wrinkling my brain.
They have catchphrases.
Bazinga.
Who here does the best impression of Captain Raymond Holt?
We know how they would react in an imaginary situation.
Everyone will perform the same scenario. Captain Holt eating a marshmallow for the very first time. Let the Holt off begin!
What is this glutinous monstrosity before me?
The sugar in this is quite sweet.
That's your Holt impression?
I can hear him doing that.
In this way, they become relatable. They remind us of people we already know.
What's going on here? What are you doing?
Captain, hey, nothing, just eating some marshmallows. Care for one?
Marshmallow.
I knew
So in
it!
sitcoms, characters are generally static. But if we're thinking more broadly, what even is a character? We might need to think a little more abstractly about the nature of story and the nature of persons within the story. There's a lot of debate about this stuff, but I really like screenwriter Jeremy Truby's line, Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, but in story terms, it's I want, therefore I am.
I wanna really be the California Quiznos 1999.
So what does the character want? That's what typically drives a story forwards, some kind of desire.
Play it again!
And the story is about what they're willing to sacrifice in order to get it.
Are you crazy?
Are you blue?
And generally speaking, we call it a comedy if the character gets what they want, and a tragedy if they don't.
Tobias rushed to the theater hoping to be seen. Unfortunately, it was dusk, and he couldn't be seen.
What the hell was that?
But there's another piece to this, and that's what the character needs. If they get what they want, but it isn't what they need, then it's really a tragedy. And the beautiful thing about sitcoms is that they're really good at showing us characters not understanding what's good for them.
Sometimes people are too proud to ask for help when they need it.
Oh, God, okay, fine, I need you.
I need you, okay, Michael?
No, I didn't mean for you.
He was
That's
a
not what-
realtor, Michael.
Sitcoms are about characters who are stuck in a rut. Because sitcom characters don't typically get what they want. They can't overcome the obstacles in their way. And the obstacles in their way are often other characters. So we care about characters in stories because that's just how stories work, but in a sitcom, we care because they're endearing. They don't typically do things which we find outrageous or repulsive. They do things that we do. They go to the same places and have similar conversations with people from whom they can't escape. We care about sitcom characters because they're funny. They can be funny in what they say, but also they make funny decisions. They try to resolve their problems in terrible ways. And as the anonymous groups remind us, if we always do what we've always done, we will always get what we've always got. That's the heart of a sitcom, but we care about them because they're flawed. And we're flawed. They're like us.
I am not a successful adult. I don't eat vegetables and or take care of myself.
Great sitcom characters make mistakes. They have faults. In fact, sitcom characters are often known for what they're not good at rather than what they are. They're known for what they lack. They're typically people who struggle. They find themselves in difficult situations.
Wish the ground could have swallowed me up.
In a sitcom, no character is ever fully in control of the world around them. They're frustrated by the other characters.
No! No! No!
They're frustrated by the world around them that's just too much for them to cope with. And sometimes, in a sitcom, everything just crumbles around them and there's nothing they can do about it. Just like us. But despite their flaws, they're trying to put on a good show. They're trying to make it look like they're not failing.
I'm fine.
Really?
Absolutely. I'm fine. Totally fine. I don't know why it's coming out all loud and squeaky, because really, I'm fine.
And we admire characters for trying. So many great sitcom characters try to better themselves. They attempt to break out from the mold, break out from what they're capable of ordinarily. But this is futile.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not French. And I'm not eating that. Okay. This scarf is driving me crazy!
As the audience, we know they'll be found out sooner or later. We know that they're kidding themselves if they think they can change.
Do I regret it? Yes. Would I do it again? Probably.
They're trying to be something they're not, and it's obvious.
How do you do, fellow kids?
We see these characters going into the same situation every week without having learned anything.
Life sucks. And then it gets better, and then it sucks again, and then it just sucks.
And that familiarity is what we appreciate. Sitcoms are repeated. They establish a premise and they stick to it. And that's how most of us live. We stay in the same place, we have the same neighbors, we stay in the same jobs, we have the same colleagues. And for many of us, most of the time, our days and weeks, in months, in adult life, feel routine, regular. But typically, rather than it being a problem that things are familiar and routine, in a sitcom, this is a feature. Sitcoms are comfortable. Sitcoms are small, ordinary, domestic. They're about people stuck together.
Look at me! I'm Chandler. Could I be wearing any more clothes?
They might even be awful people who deserve each other.
Haven't we had this conversation before?
You think?
I think we have.
Yeah, maybe we have.
Sitcoms have changed our attitudes about morality and society and sexuality far more than the movies have.
You think you knew I was here?
Given all this stuff we've said about sitcoms being safe and comforting, how do they change society? Well, most of the time they don't. But when they do, it's typically by boiling the frog. Gently and slowly. But every now and again, They cash in the relational credit they built up over the years, and they present the audience with a more controversial idea.
When I got stopped the other day, I wasn't a cop. I wasn't a guy who lived in the neighborhood looking for his daughter's toy. I was a black man. A dangerous black man. That's all he could see. A threat.
And now that we're open, now that we're on side and we see these people regularly, we feel for them. And this power, the power of story, can be used for good or for ill.
Hit it, boys! This is a different kind of love song, dedicated to everyone.
We are, as the audience, emotionally vulnerable. We are open. And so the writers can have an impact. We can be turned to want what they want. And we can be convinced that what they want is what they need.
Follow your bliss, Jack. Follow your bliss. Follow your bliss.
My bliss is this way.
And that's when a situation comedy ultimately becomes a tragedy, when the lie persists, when what a character actually needs is not what the writers want them to need. In 1997, this scene was one of the most talked about in television history. It boiled down to this reveal.
Susan, I'm gay.
It's a great joke. A character accidentally says something they've been nervous about admitting for so long into a microphone. A private conversation becomes a public announcement, and because it was delivered so endearingly, it was incontrovertible. No weapon forged against it could stand. Now, this essay isn't about why changing the definition of marriage was wrong. It's about the persuasive impact of stories to get there.
To see somebody so full of kindness and light, somebody we liked so much, somebody who could be our neighbor or our colleague or our sister, challenge our own assumptions. Remind us that we have more in common than we realize. Push our country in the direction of justice.
What the President of the United States was saying here is that there was a causative line between a sympathetic portrayal of a character on television and the redefinition of marriage. Stories are powerful. But why do we care so much about these stories? Why are they so effective? Because they make us feel that everything is okay, that life is going to be okay. We see people go through the same struggles we have, and they get to the end of the episode, and the world didn't end. And the Christian story is the reason for such hope in reality. That we're not ultimately in control, but that somehow, someone has got this whole thing figured out. And that the writer of the situation that we find ourselves in is a comedy writer. Inside the Christian view of the world, we're going to be okay. And much like that truth, sitcoms are reassuring. And it's precisely because sitcoms don't startle us that they can steal past watchful dragons so effectively. As the West has lost its overarching Christian story, other stories have risen up to take center stage. And these stories don't need to be big, explosive adventure quests. They can be much lower stakes. Hi, I'm Nate. Thanks for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to this channel, please remember that we try to take in a theology of storytelling. Please also remember that media consumption is optional. You are under no obligation to watch any of these situation comedy television programs. I'm Reformed mythologist Nate Morgan Locke. I'm glad you were here.